Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 54. My name is Patrick. I'm joined by Saif and Steve. Say hi, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
So it is 2023. We made it. We've survived another New Year's celebration. The Earth has gone around the sun again. Wahoo!
We're a year closer to our demise.
Yeah, well, based on how the world's going, I feel like it's probably faster than a year. We don't have that much time left, but
We're fast traveling to that destination on this lounge.
we definitely are. So
We're a year closer to the world's best video game.
Wait, hang on, what? Explain that.
I don't know. We're just a year closer to it. I'm assuming it hasn't come out yet.
No, they
We
released
peaked
Knack.
last year. With Stranger of
Knack's out,
Paradise.
Oh, shut up, Steph. Speaking of,
shut
when are
up,
we doing
Steph.
our Game of the Year episode?
You know what? I think that was
Ooh.
supposed to be this episode, actually.
We could just do that as this episode.
Congratulations, everybody. You got something to tune in for next week.
We fumbled our way into doing the Game of the Year episode this week.
Excellent. All right. Before we get there, though, I've noticed something very curious while out and about.
Has there been a monkey wearing a hat?
A very different sort of curious to that, George. But
Why curious, George?
by furious, George.
Ooh.
But while I was out doing my supermarket shopping, as I do, I noticed that they, before Christmas, up to a month before Christmas decorations everywhere. Mariah Carey in the aisles. But suddenly I go in and it's only been 2 weeks after Christmas and not a peep. Curious.
They've stuffed the speakers full of hot cross buns.
Yeah, no, we already got hot cross buns everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you actually?
I got hot cross buns for half price like 3 days ago because they were like near their best before date. So not only are they out, they are close to expiring.
And we're still 4 months out from Easter.
Holy shit.
Sucks to be Valentine's Day. Sorry, babe, you've been skipped. Give me that bunny.
What do people get up to for New Year's?
I went to a house party.
Okay, you might be the only person that I know that actually went to a party. Almost everyone that I've spoken to was just like, yeah, we did something quiet, and then we waited until like 12:02, and then we went to bed.
Yeah, I played both God of War games. So, I just stayed home and did nothing. How about you, Patrick? What did you do?
I waited until 12:02, and then I went to bed. No, it was a pretty quiet affair, but no one I know everyone was glad that the year was over, but no one wanted to celebrate it. They were just like, let's just get through it.
I was actually invited to a party, but I forgot until the day before. And at that point, I was just committed to not going.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, if you get in your mindset of like, you know what, don't feel like going out. But yeah, I think I've definitely had enough of New Year's where I wake up the next day and I feel really bad. So maybe I should have a quiet one next year. I think as I get older as well, like
into the 2-day hangover phase.
No, if I keep telling myself it's not a 2-day hangover, it will never become one. But I will not be okay until either like sleeping half the day or until like the next day. And like, I don't feel like wasting a day of my holidays. But then at the same time, you got to live it up, right? Live in the moment, etc., etc. Maybe I'll go overseas.
I'm pretty sure it was last New Year's that I just had a quiet one and discovered Hades.
Hades is such a good
nice
game. Yeah, it was. I think it was. I think it was 2021. I also discovered the joy of Hades.
But it was like I need something to do to kill the like hour or so before it ticks over into the new year, and so it was like, Hades has been on my list of things to play for a while. And then I went to bed at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that sounds like Hades.
And then I woke up and then I played Hades, and then I'll be honest, that whole week is kind of fuzzy.
Just one more run, right? You'll get it next time.
Yeah.
I still need to finish properly.
time.
I still need to do the 10 clears to see the story all the way through.
The story end. Yeah, fair enough. Thinking back to one of the last parties that I went to celebrating New Year's a few years ago now, 2016-ish, I think. God, it's a long time ago now. It was a group of about 10 of us staying at someone's batch, and one of the guys went to bed early. He just wasn't feeling great, but it meant that when he woke up the next day, every person that saw him was like, "Oh, how you going? I haven't seen you since last year."
Oh
That's
god, one
always-
of those
And
events.
let me tell you, I was lucky because I just don't sleep a huge amount, so I got in early. I was fine, but by the like fifth person, you just started punching people.
Well, I did the thing. So when I got back from that house party, I was like, it was like 2:30, and because we had to like walk home a bit, I had a bit of a shower before I went to bed, and I got to say to my girlfriend, "Hey, I hadn't had a shower all year," and it was like 2:30. Always funny.
Isn't that the Camila Cabello tweet?
I don't know who that is.
You are probably
there
for the
was, like-
best.
There was like a screenshot from several different meme pages that I followed that were all of, I think it might have been Camila Cabello or another sort of pop star-esque Twitter personality who religiously on the 1st of January would say, "I haven't showered since last year."
Oh, I think she might have taken that joke from me.
Yeah, definitely possible. Remember, if you get rich or win any sort of money in litigation, you owe. I think it's in the contract. Host gets 70%. I think. Pretty sure that's right. Future Seth can look that
I'll
up
have
and
to
correct
recheck
me.
the contract. I think it's like I'm defined as the host though, for the purposes of money making. So, I'll have to go back and see. My lawyers will talk to your lawyers.
The important aspect is as he is, it gets 40%.
That's 110%, my good friend.
Hey, that's just the amount of effort the editor puts in every week.
yes, exactly. That much. Nothing less.
Certainly not a monetary value less. A monetary value approaching zero, some would say.
We'll give you $40 in cryptocurrency. How about that? Would you like that?
I'll
That's
give you my
worse than
crypto zoo
nothing.
investment.
What do you mean?
Oh,
You-
man.
you could make a lot of money on it one day. It's a bull run. It'll go up any day now, I reckon.
Or it'll cost me a lot of money.
Just remember, every day that it doesn't go up in value is just means that tomorrow it's more likely to. Confucius said that.
Did he?
Well, if Confucius said that, then I have to believe it.
Source.
True. Right. So, I would say let's go on around the lounge for this week. I'm not sure how this will go because I honestly don't remember much of our Game of the Year episode last year.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Do we actually have? Does everyone have like we're actually improving this as we go? We had a whole schedule and everything, and then it was just like, oh yeah, no, that probably should be the Game of the Year episode. Do people have a loose top 3, top 5?
So should we do that next week instead of just bumbling around and just speaking over the top of each other? Like if we're not, like I'm prepared. I've got my spreadsheet up because I keep a track of all games that I played this year and I get the rating that I gave them and the actual year they came out. So I've played 34 games last year and I can talk through each of them in excruciatingly high detail if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm also pretty prepared. I've already gone and made a top 5 of games that came out specifically last year list.
Sweet. I mean, I'm basically good to go as well. So why don't we just bumble through it this week? Hit the ground, hit 2023 running, as they say. Confucius said that too.
Did he?
Yeah, he was so ahead of his time. Oh man, you had to see. Yeah, you had to be there. You had to be there.
Rats. Yeah, I wasn't there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, all good, all good. So do we want to go? So do you guys have them broken down in any particular way, or is it just your top 3 / top 5?
I have mine like broken down by rating and by year, but I get the feeling if we're doing game of the year, I should do probably by release year. Here we go.
I mean, if you don't feel like you played enough of the games that came out last year, I'm perfectly happy to hear your, like, these are the top 5 things that I went through last year.
I can do a bit of both. I played fucking enough games. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, all
So 34
of them.
games a year is less than one a week. Interesting. Someone do the stats on that. Right in.
You need to pick up the pace.
Man literally has a spreadsheet in front of him and is asking a random listener to do the stats.
I'm not very
It's
good
actually your
with,
job.
I'm not very good with formulas.
Hey, Steve, Mr. I'm the host for money making purposes. That's probably the worst audience engagement approach I've ever heard.
No, we want. I'll see if I can do a formula. You guys keep talking.
Okay, well, Seth, we'll start with you. What are your actually before we hit top 5, or however many you have to hand? Are there any that came out last year that you think might have been in your top that you never got to play or never got to finish?
Maybe Soul Hackers 2.
Oh man, from what I've seen of that game, it looks terrible.
It looks low. It looks low budget, but the
Steve coming in
characters.
strong.
It looks low budget in the dungeon design, but if the characters and story pulled me into it enough, maybe it could have topped been into my top 5 list, maybe on the lower end. I just finished God of War Ragnarok, and that doesn't break into it, but it got pretty close.
Interesting.
Yeah, that would probably be top of my list as well. I did love 2018 when I ironically played that 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So I think I would really enjoy Ragnarok, but at the same time, I'm not paying full price for a video game.
Especially not the current full price.
Is it out on PC yet? I always forget. Or is it just on
2018
PS5?
is.
2018 is.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I meant Ragnarok. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Ragnarok won't come to PC for another year or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to milk that exclusivity money.
Maybe Xenoblade 3 as well.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth, you dickhead. Yeah, that is.
Look who's down to 33 games this year, Steve. You prick.
Well, I need to play that.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, Xenoblade 3 is probably the strongest one. It's I didn't play that last year, but if I did, maybe it'll be in my top 5 games.
I guess I've seen a lot of game of the year lists, and it does look like it's pretty far up there.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Xenoblade 1. Still need to play Xenoblade 2.
1. Yeah, it's very good. 1 and 2 are both very good games.
Yeah, I couldn't get past the initial shock of the art style change when they went to 2, and by the time I got around to playing 1, 3 was actually no, I played 1 ages ago. Actually, never mind that. I think by the time I played 1, X was about to come out, and I was feeling burnt out from 1, so I just haven't looked at playing another Xenoblade game since.
It is a very, very long game.
What
about you, Pat? Anything on your wish list you wish you played?
Ragnarok, which I'm a couple hours in, but I'm not far enough in to have opinions, or to have opinions beyond 2018.
Yeah, since we're pushing that to next week, maybe we can actually have a better discussion about it, since I've finished it, and you'll hopefully be a bit further in.
Maybe. We'll find. Will I play more of it? Let us know. Now that's how you do audience engagement, Steve. What about you, Steve? Seeing as Saif hit you with the Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is Xenoblade 3, I don't know what they do with the titles. Any other things on your wish list?
Not really. Nothing that really springs to mind from there. It's probably a lot of things that I would have. It's a lot of the games that I tend to enjoy are things that I'm I pick up 3 or 4 years later. I'm well, that was actually people speak good about now, but it's something that I probably really fall in love with a couple of years later, picking up for $20. But I'm not really sure. I don't know. I think I played a lot of the games I was sort of really keen for. All the Pokemons. I got Elden Ring much on release. And don't forget 2 Pokemon games came out this year, fellas.
Yeah, no, that was a thing I had to contend with when I was making my top 5.
W1.
Which Pokemon game is better?
You'll find out when I get into my top 5.
Actually, what's that game called? Hard Space Shipbreaker. It's like a game, and you're pretty much putting together spaceships in space. And you got a time limit. I've seen a couple of good things about it. Need to go check that out as well.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
I don't think I have, actually.
Well, and there's a bunch of games that have come to Game Pass this year or have just been released on Xbox, like your Persona 5s, and all of Personas 3 and 4 are coming out on that.
Yeah,
soon as well.
Since,
and the Ni no Kuni series as well. All those games that have come to Game Pass, I'd love to play. And just sort of time makes fools of us all, doesn't it?
Since you brought up Game Pass, I also want to, Stephen, in 9 or 10 days, Monster Hunter Rise is going to be coming to Game Pass. Are you going to check that out? After how much Patrick's talked about that game.
Eventually. I think because I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories 2 at the moment, I'm a bit burnt out on the Monster Hunter setting, even though that
Is Stories 2 2022 game, or is that 2021?
2021, according to my spreadsheet.
Yeah, it came out the same year that Rise did. They had that whole cross promotion going on as well, where certain things were in each game.
Yeah. I definitely will get to Rise. Very good point. But when will I get to Rise? Type of thing.
You know what? I'm going through the list of games that came out last year. I completely forgot to mention. I didn't play it, but it was possibly going to make a top 5 list in some capacity. Babylon's Fall.
Oh.
No, not top 5 best, or maybe top 5 funniest releases.
Top 5 releases. How about games
top
that came
5
out
releases of all time.
There was also Neon White,
Neon White was the other one.
Yeah, Neon White was something I bought. I haven't played it yet. It seems like a fairly quick game to go through. Maybe it'll be something I go through soon, since I just came off Ragnarok, which was a really long game.
It did seem like one of those games that everyone was talking about for 2 weeks. Everybody bought it, nobody played it, or everybody played it for 2 seconds and they put it back down.
I've seen people still going through and speedrunning it, but yeah, it's like a small dedicated community now.
Yeah, and the speedrunning community.
That's the only reason why I didn't immediately put that on my wish list either, in that I do intend to play it, but I don't think it's like Hades last year was like, I know this game will be good, I just haven't gotten around to playing it. I'm sure Neon White would be good, but it's probably not this will be in my top 5 of 2022 type game.
It doesn't seem like a
Steve
Steve game.
Yeah.
Or a Pat game. Like it's a good game probably for what it is, but it is not what I want to play.
It might have made top 5, but I got just early impressions of like what I think it could have been. Probably at least an honorable mention for the year.
Yeah, that's sort of the tier that I'm expecting it to hit.
Wouldn't mind
did it
getting
make
that
top 5? Let us know.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting that just as one thing to tie us out. That Digimon Survive game that came out last year as well.
Yes, I didn't touch that either.
Did you actually buy it though?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, well, yeah. From what I've heard, they changed that game a lot. It was in development hell and they completely did things to it.
They went through like two complete restarts on that, didn't they?
Something like that, and like a developer change as well. And from what I've heard, both on the internet and through actual real life people that have played the game and are talking to me, it shows. it is the shell of something, and they tried to fill it in with some visual novel kind of aspects, and it doesn't fill that space very good at all.
Yeah, I remember we had a news article last year we talked about where it's like, 80% of the game is going to be visual novel, so be prepared for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I get the feeling if you have to announce that, you really have to be like, maybe put it back in the oven for a bit. Like,
yeah, I feel like they were just at a point where it's like, it's been in the oven so long it needs to come out. If it was in development any longer, they would not have made the money back at all.
Well, what's the old saying? A game that is never released is always good. A game that comes out is always bad. I played completely.
Who says that?
Miyamoto.
Whoever
he says
told
it
you
all the
that
time.
lied to you.
Yeah, it's like a quote attributed to him.
It's
a game that is delayed has the potential of being good. A game that is rushed is always bad or something.
Oh yeah. That side makes sense. You missed out a couple of the crucial words. No. It just sounded like if a game comes out, it's shit. Which, I mean, historically speaking, that's not actually wrong. But I don't like the idea of that.
Bring up the stats of good games versus bad games.
That would take us quite a while.
Holy shit, Steve. Sorry, just one more note on Digimon Survive. I'm looking at the store page because I was curious if it's dropped in price any. Steam's telling me it's similar to Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah.
It's probably just because the anime.
Right up your alley.
Yeah, it's probably just because of the anime art style, but yeah, no, these are two completely different genres, guys. Come on.
Well, it's like if you like chocolate, you might like hamburgers. Like,
statistically speaking, I do like both. Yeah, you're right there. You wouldn't
like them mixed together. But then at the same time, the person who thought of putting chocolate in milk, just saying, revolutionary.
Well, I from the unbiased third party see Digimon Survive and Guilty Gear Strive and think both have guilt in them, both have people striving in them, so I can see the crossover.
Well, and they're both role-playing games. Because as we all know, every game is a role-playing game.
There it is.
I
was waiting for the 1-2. There we go.
Tag team.
All right, cool.
It's not a tag team if you're just slapping yourself on the hand.
Don't worry, it'll be me slapping him in the hand.
Ooh.
Wish list out of the way. First of the year category. Favorite podcast of the year. Bit hard to pin down on this one, but Saif, your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to go with FTL, the Fast Travel Lounge. They're just starting out, but they seem pretty good.
Just starting out. I thought they've got like 1 million episodes out.
Oh, about a year's worth.
It's close. If we were doing Price is Right rules, you would be disqualified because it was nearly 1 million, but it was actually 53.
53 million. Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
Patrick, how about you? What's your favorite podcast of the year?
We're really doing this.
I'm sorry, Steve. Did you not get the memo?
No, I didn't.
This is the 2022 A Year in Review podcast.
What was your? Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. What was it?
A/B testing.
Oh, it'll make me sound like an asshole.
Unironically, one of my favorite podcasts to listen to, but it's a software engineering testing sort of podcast, so probably not a huge amount of overlap. But yeah, I think Fast Travel Lounge is easily top three. Particularly their FTL checkpoint series really had a lot of potential there. Don't know what happened to the first episode, but second episode kind of a banger.
Yeah, I agree. First episode's kind of up in the ether, and I hear it's good. It's just never releasing. I don't know what they're doing with that.
Well, of course you hear it's good. It's a podcast. You can't watch it.
What do you mean?
I watch all my podcasts on YouTube.
Because you hear it?
Oh, actually, you know what? I'll throw it for your thoughts in a sec, Steve, but just because we're sharing a brain cell on both enjoying FTL, how good was the reviewing every pink Pokemon series?
Oh yeah, every pink Pokemon was such a good mini-series that they had. Very, very strong arc for them. I love how easy it was to get into. Like, you didn't need to know anything about Pokemon, and it was really easy to follow. Yeah, and the additions of the He's Here tier, both very funny and yeah, game changing. But it was also very sweet and very frightening.
Anyway, Steve, your favorite podcast of the year?
So, and this is with a somber heart that I say this because it has since finished up. But My Dad Wrote a Porno. That is a very, very funny podcast.
I got recommended that one. I listened to the first episode and I was like, I'm not. I think I can see why other people would find it funny, but it just wasn't landing for me.
No, I think it's fucking hysterical. It's a shame, like it has finished up, but the episodes are quite concise, only a short 40 minutes compared to the second best podcast, Fast Travel Lounges, over 2 hours. But look, if you're looking for something small,
that's 2 hours of the most digestible content you'll ever find, though.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking if you're cooking a 1-star meal, you'll probably take 40 minutes. If you're cooking a 5-star meal, it'll take 2 hours. I'm just saying, let us into your dinner table.
I love the idea that there's like a nice nuclear family just eating their Christmas meal. And one of them's like, why don't we put some music on in the background? And it's just shuffled onto Fast Travel Lounge episode like 43 or something.
I think I'd believe it. There's probably in the infinite parallel universes that exist, I reckon there is some 1950 style family in black and white that have turned on those old timey radios.
Specifically in black and white too. Like the year is like 2020, but they are just living in 1950.
They're walking around like the beginning of Saints Row 4 doing that really cheeky walk.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, good thing it's a video podcast. You can just look at your screen right now.
Don't do this to me. I'll mark it down here.
They've got that B-reel going.
Cool. Well, this bit went for way longer than it had any right to. So, actual game of the year contenders. Steve, why don't we go to you first? I don't know if maybe it's sort of like on you as to how much you want to discuss each one, whether you want to just go through the list quickly or just pick one to start with, or up to you. I don't know how this is going to go. But what was at least one thing on your list for 2022?
Well, whoops, I just dropped my water bottle and it probably just ruined a nice transition. So essentially, I'm going to say it before anybody else says it, Elden Ring, 100%. That is my number one pick. As much as I hate to give out 10s to games, because I don't believe that you can achieve perfection, it is always something that we should be striving for rather than, yeah, cool, we've made it all the best. Elden Ring is very close to a 10.
It's like a 99.
It's out of 10, not out of 100.
9.9 then.
No. Seth knows what he said.
But yeah, it's fantastic. And it's actually one of my friends, shout out to Ben if you're listening. You better be listening. He literally just got into it over the Christmas break and he's like loving it. And it's been good to have chats with him about the build he's going and the different bosses and the different struggles that are going on and that actual difficulty of when you're trying to get through a section or when you're trying to get through a boss and that satisfaction when you actually do. It's just amazing. Like you sit there, you'll literally just, it's so good. Like there was what's that headless giant or whatever it is. It took me so long to beat him. I must have tried him like over 50 times.
Yeah, the fire giant.
The fire giant, that's it. Yeah. And you finally get him and you're like, yeah, all right.
That's where I'm up to. Elden Ring Elden Ring is one of the few games which I haven't finished, but don't need to finish to appreciate how good it is.
Which is funny because Fire Giant is very close to the end.
I know.
Well,
But it's also when the map like inverts and a bunch of stuff shuts down. So I was like, well, better go gallivanting off in random directions.
Right,
yeah, definitely like diamond shapes there.
It's only one place that gets shut down, I think.
Well, it's not shut down. It's like it becomes more narrow. Like it's the open world, and as you get to that part, it sort of narrows it, corridors, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, but you also get locked out of a bunch of side missions in that one city that gets shut down, basically.
Oh, very true. Yeah, depending on what you do.
Yeah, so if you want to do everything, you got to make sure you clear out that city first.
Yeah, well, I intend to finish up Elden Ring, but yeah, of what I've played, easily in my top 5 as well.
Yeah, like it's fantastic. Like I was sort of skeptical about having an open world Soulsborne type of game, but not only does it suit the genre, it has been implemented in a very good way. Like it simultaneously rewards you for exploring, but at the same time putting limits to how far you can explore. But you still can overcome. If you're not supposed to be in an area, you can still be in that area. You'll just have to work a lot harder.
Yeah, it's so funny to me that on their first try of making an open world game, they made one of the best games in the genre. They put so many open world games to shame. It's the same with Breath of the Wild, actually, like in the sense that Breath of the Wild put basically the entire open world genre beneath its feet. Elden Ring's done the same.
So this word gets tossed around a lot when talking about Breath of the Wild, and I'm going to put it at the same level as Elden Ring. Revolutionary. It revolutionized the genre. There you go, I said it.
I remember when we discussed this December 2021, before it had come out, and there was that one trailer of riding around on the horse and the geyser, like the jumps going like way up and down. You guys remember that trailer? It was like one of the first movement trailers for Elden Ring.
I really didn't keep up with the trailers, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I only watched it because I knew that we were going to talk about it on an episode, and Saif was gushing about it, and I was watching it, and I was like, I guess it just doesn't seem like my sort of game. And then it comes out, and it was just like, whoa, happy to be wrong on how like well this game went compared to my impressions of it watching one fucking trailer. Random mid-episode question for the guys. It's just because it's possibly my favorite podcast title that we did. Episode blank, Elden Rang and we answered. What is the number?
Oh god. That was fairly early.
Think about it. We're on 14 now.
I was literally about to say, I'm pretty sure it's 14, and you just said that.
Yeah, I meant to say we're on 54 at the moment. I was looking at the episode number when I said it. I did that stupid thing.
I know 9 was one of the first ones that like all of us as a group was really proud of. And I was like, 9 was before Elden Ring came out, but not that long before. I'm guessing 14.
I was shocked. I was expecting it to be... because when I was scrolling back looking for it, I was looking for it kind of 20 to 30. I didn't think it was 10 to 20.
So how do you feel fumbling that bag?
Oh, terrible. Good thing Steve's the host, so it's his fault.
I still get money.
You know what? I take it back. I fumbled the bag, but I still get money. Yeah, Elden Ring also on my list. Seth, Elden Ring on your list, perhaps?
Elden Ring is on my list for sure, yeah.
But is it on your list as number 1, or just on like a highlight of the year?
It is on my list. It is, if you know anything about the way I've been acting on this podcast last year, it's not number 1, but it's pretty close.
Interesting. All right. What is your number 1 then? I am contractually obligated to ask you what your number 1 is.
And I'm contractually obligated to cut in here before Seth answers it and say that we're not going to rehash all of what I think we spent about 2 episodes talking about various bits of it. But yeah, go back and listen to episode 14, Elden Ring and we answered. Still banger of an episode title. Oh, I still chuckle when I read that title.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. Now, Seth, what was your number 1?
All right. So I thought I was going to work backwards through my list, like 5 through to 1. But yeah, I'll start with the best one.
In that case, you could just you could give us a taster. You could tease the audience like you always fucking do with.
Oh, you tease.
No.
What was it, a couple episodes ago where you're like, I'll speak about that later. And it was like, Oh yeah, cliffhangering for an hour later in the episode, huh? Nice.
Yeah. Wait till the entire news section after we talk about it on Round the Lounge. But no, I'll just start with my number one. My number one was Stranger of Paradise. No surprise there. Just to get it out of the way as well, Elden Ring is number two. I remember me and Patrick, both of us having the same thought at the time of like when Elden Ring came out and Stranger of Paradise and Tiny Tina. It's like, yeah, Elden Ring is really good, but this other game that came out around the same time is just more up my speed, up my like what I want out of a game, and
definitely.
That's what Stranger of Paradise is for me. It's a really fun game. I really enjoyed everything it did. The co-op in it is like one of my favorite systems for a Soul-style co-op game because it's just, hey, make a room, have someone join you, go on missions together. There's no consumable items or anything. You just go and do the missions together as long as you both have them unlocked, I think is the case. Yeah, no, the combat system in it is fan-fucking-tastic. I get so much joy just playing the game, fighting all the enemies, fighting all the bosses. Every attack is so satisfying to land. All the different jobs in the game are really fun. They've been adding more with the DLC, and I've only done the first DLC at the moment. The last one's coming out this month. I've heard that people aren't happy with how the second DLC went.
Oh, yo. Sorry, we're talking about Stranger of Paradise or Tiny Tina's? I forget.
Stranger of Paradise, because it's in the sense that all the DLCs expect you to grind them all the way to the end before moving on to the next one. So you need to be insanely dedicated to the game to get into the next phase of the game.
Joke's on you. Tiny Tina's does the same thing, but it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, this takes hours of grinding. But yeah, if people that are just
but is it a good grinding or bad grinding though? Like there's grinding, and I'm shaking my head like
grinding.
Yes. And then there's grinding, and I'm making an angry face.
It depends on your outlook, because if you're in the game just for like the story and the new levels and bosses, then it's grinding. But if you really enjoy the game for what it is and like trying to make builds and just getting as insane as you can, then it's more of the upbeats. Yeah, it's grinding. So it depends on your outlook on the game and the way it works. Especially since it's a loot system game, so you're grinding loot.
Man, all games are loot games these days.
Hey, they really are. But yeah, no. Also, just the story, a lot of people wrote off, but I think it's actually really genuinely good, especially when it gets to the later moments and all of the darker beats happen and it starts going towards the end game. I think it actually genuinely gets good. Jack as a character is fantastic, and yeah, I'm really happy with how this game turned out. It's probably one of my favorite games that's ever come out.
Jesus.
It's I did play the demo for Strangers of Paradise, and I did sort of click with it. Probably isn't the word I'd use, but because I am into those, it was sort of a mix of like everyone kept calling it a Souls-like, but I think it was more.
It's more actiony than a Souls game is.
Yeah, actiony RPG type of thing. And I did like how you could switch classes really easy with the press of a button. And I did like in one of the cutscenes they're talking, and he just interrupts and says bullshit, puts in his AirPods, and he's just like, all right, let's go. And it's the funniest thing. There's
also another scene later on where a boss is doing their whole standard spiel of how dare you come into this crypt, do you know who I am, blah, blah, blah. And before it can finish its spiel, Jack jumps up and goes, I don't give a fuck who you are, and then just sticks it in the face.
That's Soul. It's good.
But yeah, no, all around fantastic game. I'm sad for the people that can't get into the DLC, but when I get around to it, it's going to be something that I just gel with. It's made specifically for like me and 3 other people on my timeline.
4 people in the entire world like this game. Okay.
In your multiverse.
Yeah. My Twitter timeline, not like my Marvel timeline.
Your mortal coil.
And yeah, number 2, Elden Ring. Same reasons Steven said. It's just
sorry. If you want to hear more about why Saif likes Stranger of Paradise so much, sorry, I'm really enjoying going down memory lane with some of the episode names that we have, but you can catch more of Saif's thoughts on Stranger of Paradise in episode 15. 16. No, 17. There we go. Tiny Tina's Mouthful of Chaos, and episode 18, Geez Chaos, you get 2 games. Also great names.
Oh yeah, those are also very strong.
There we go. Second, Elden Ring.
Yeah, second Elden Ring, same reasons we talked about like 5 minutes ago. All around phenomenal game.
Mm-hmm.
Really loved the feeling of like you just keep going and the game just keeps getting bigger and you're like, this game doesn't end. Oh my god, there's so much more to do. And yeah, the Souls genre just kind of works in open world better than you'd ever expect it to. So I was really happy with how that game came together. I did basically all the boss fights that are important. Looking forward to whatever DLC they do, if they do one. I expect them to. And Patrick, what's your favorite game of the last year?
So I need to ask for the lounge's opinion, because my number one game for 2022 is Sunbreak, but it's not.
Wait a minute.
It's kind of like a technicality.
I will allow it. It is an expansion, but it's big enough to be a sequel to the game.
And they have consistently added content to it throughout the year. So the expansion came out, and then they've continued to add free content to it.
Yeah, and I also think at the time it came out, it matched what was in Rise anyway, like Rise and its DLCs, so it basically doubled the game.
It did. And yeah, it is sort of, I will say weird, but I mean that in the best sense, and that Steve's right, and that for an expansion, they added free DLC to the expansion to the game. That's just unheard of.
Yeah, that's and not only is that good, that's the Steven tight ass seal of approval. So there you are.
Buy a game that just keeps giving you more content for the rest of the year.
Did you guys end up watching that Monster Hunter game? End up watching that Monster Hunter movie?
Oh, I watched the Netflix one, not the live action one.
I've seen both. Which one were you talking about?
The live action one. I didn't know there was an animated one. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the live action one, it's entertaining. It's not a good film. No part of what you've seen of the film before having seen the film itself would make you think that it's a good film. It is designed to be entertaining, and it is entertaining. I don't think that was a recent thing. That came out a while ago, I think. Or maybe February? Like 2022?
Yeah, no, it came out before 2022 because I remember while we were on our break, or hell, I think it was when we were starting the podcast, we were making jokes of we should watch both of them and compare them in an episode, and then that never panned out.
Oh, because I ended up watching it. I ended up watching it with a friend of mine, which would have been January or February. I just don't remember what year. So if it wasn't 2022, it would have been 2021. So a little while ago.
I think the live action movie came out at the start of 2021, and the animated one came out closer to the end of 2021.
Yeah, and the animated one was much closer to what you'd think of when you think of a Monster Hunter movie.
It is, but it's also horrible.
I mean, did we not talk about this? I remember discussing this with people. I just don't remember if this was either like here as part of an episode or just in Discord with people.
Maybe it was on Discord with people because I don't remember talking about it.
Yeah, I do not remember talking about this either.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's the sort. I mean, like that's funnily enough so long ago now that I'd be keen to watch it again and then just add it to around the lounge bit for a future episode. But I don't remember it being particularly bad, or at least maybe that's coming at it from the kind of biased place of it was better than the live action film.
I imagine it's probably that because it's not bad, it's just incredibly boring. Like there's a whole lot of nothing going on in that movie.
Parts of it are definitely like that, but parts of it pay much more of an homage to what the games were than what the live action film did. So I think the animated film also did a lot of things right. We're getting kind of sidetracked. So Sunbreak, I'm slowly scrolling through the episode list. I remember roughly when it came out, but I don't remember what we titled the episode when it came out.
Probably something silly.
I think it was the Monster Hunter Rise of Wordle. It was one of our earlier episodes.
But was that just talking? Because remember, there was Monster Hunter Rise coming to PC, and then there was Sunbreak. Both of those happened last year.
I think that one was actually when Rise came to PC. So yeah, Sunbreak would have been a lot later.
Yeah. So Sunbreak, it came out basically middle of last year. There is an episode from around the middle of last year, which will be me just absolutely gushing on it for many, many minutes.
Many minutes across the entire life of this podcast now.
That's also kind of where it was going. Yeah. Episode 34. Give me your mum's credit card number.
Yeah.
Banger.
You didn't need your mum's credit card number. Rise had a lot of free updates.
You know what? It was
exactly.
It was episode 34 and every episode after.
But yeah, basically anytime there was Sunbreak news, it would come up in the news section with me talking about it. But so why did I really like the game? I was a massive fan of Monster Hunter World, which funnily enough, so first all of the Monster Hunter games that I'd played had been the PSP/3DS era ones of like loading screens in between areas, and it's basically just you run after a large monster and beat it to death for like 30 minutes or so. And so when I saw everything about World, it was like, ooh, that's a completely different format. I don't know how this will pan out. And so when that came to PC, I realized actually this is my favorite Monster Hunter game ever. And so Rise was enough like World that I played the shit out of Rise. First on Switch, Saif and Josh.
With no audio.
Yeah, and no audio. And then
how do you do it with no audio? You don't get the vibe.
And then I got all of the armor, every armor piece that I could, and basically clocked the game on Switch. And then it came to PC, and then I bought it on PC, and then clocked the game. Well, not clocked on PC actually. I didn't get every armor piece because they announced that Sunbreak was coming out, which was the Iceborne expansion to World. What Sunbreak is the expansion to Rise, and so that's bringing in Master Rank, bunch of new monsters, 2 new areas. Basically a kind of story. I've loved all of it. I've had my gripes with like the main gripe that I've had with it has been how Monster Hunter you've always been able to capture or kill a monster, and in Sunbreak they were like, actually all the post-game content requires you to only kill monsters. And I, as someone who almost exclusively plays it solo, was like, well, this is just a 20% efficiency reduction in my time. But as part of all of the free updates that they've been doing, they've just been making it better and better and easier to play. Now you can bring like basically NPCs along with you in any hunt as opposed to select few ones. And they've
that's actually a very good addition.
Yeah,
especially because they help out a lot. Like in their specific quests, they were very useful. So actually having them around for normal quests would be very, very efficient and helpful as a solo player.
I was a little bit indifferent to it when it first came out, but I, since having played it more, thank God they brought that feature out. And it's cool being able to pick 2 different NPCs and they have like specific interactions and so like there's not enough of them that you hear all of them after a couple hunts, but it's still cool that there is that sort of interaction going on with the different NPCs. Just a million little quality of life upgrades and features, and there's still, I think the cool part is that I consider myself to be near the top of the skill ceiling for Iceborne. I found a set that worked for me and I kind of explored it to its fullest. But because of all of the new skills that they keep introducing, and particularly the scroll system with having kind of 2 different loadouts to take with you in a hunt, I still feel like I don't really know what I'm doing at times, which is kind of nice given the absolutely like unholy number of hours I put into Monster Hunter over the years. So yeah, it's a no-brainer that Sunbreak is my is my top game of the year and was also my most played game this year, I'm pretty sure, at least according to Steam. Yeah, that's my number 1. Right, so if Saif's got Elden Ring as number 2, Steve, what was your number 2?
Well, it's a toss-up between Pokemon Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet. Oh, sorry, Pokemon Violet, because that's the version that I got. Probably Violet's got it, because that's more of the traditional game, and while Arceus did try to break the mold, it did probably fall down in a couple of places, like with the battling and all that kind of stuff, even though it wasn't supposed to be for that, but it just wasn't as fun and got a bit grindy, especially towards the end. But no, Pokemon Violet is the best Pokemon game they've ever made. It is going in a very good direction. Struggled with the open world. You probably could have removed the open world from it and just made it like a semi-big wild area like Sword or Shield, and it probably would have been a lot more beneficial, but Game Freak's learning, I guess, or hopefully. And before people start adding me and saying the graphical problems and all those issues, I did have some graphical problems, not that many. Like there was a couple of slowdowns in places, especially like with water. There was like stuttering and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't impact my experience of the game. Of course, it's very disappointing. And in fact, one of the biggest franchises in the world settling for this type of quality in this day and age is borderline at fucking horror. And then there's that excuse that Game Freak is a small studio, but if they're using the video games to sell the merchandise, like you'd want it to be the pinnacle. But yeah, I really enjoyed Violet. I'm getting into the competitive scene now as well. Am I good? Probably not, but I'm giving it my best shot.
And what's important is you tried.
You're going to be the very best that no one ever was.
Yeah, like I might head. There's discussions that there's like a VGC tournament in Melbourne next month, so I might head down there, try my luck, see how I go. I might share the podcast to a bunch of strangers.
And just remember, you can take life lessons from Pokemon Violet as well, because if you realize you're not good enough, you can make sandwiches and fuck off to the future. So you got options.
Yeah, well, make sandwiches while watching my Pokemon fuck to get an egg.
Really, right in front of the salad.
Okay, so yeah. So you took parts of my life advice, and you didn't quite get to the conclusion, but you're on your way, and that's good enough for me.
So Stephen, if you're going to shield a podcast to a bunch of strangers, at least make sure you shield the Pokemon spoiler cast, so that way they have something to attach themselves to, and then they go to the normal stuff.
Normal stuff.
The vanilla missionary stuff is what Saif was trying to say.
I was just going to shield them episode 14, just in the episode title alone. But yeah, Pokemon Violet, I loved it. Some of the Pokemon designs were meh, but like the gameplay itself is really good. I really had a great time with it. I've been recommending it to a lot of people. Like, if some people have been whinging about, oh no, I don't think I'll like the new Pokemon game. Like, all right, we'll fucking play it then. But yeah, I'd say get it on sale, but it doesn't go on sale because it's a Nintendo game, and God forbid they charge less than fucking $5 off RRP. Dogs.
That sounds like a steal.
So Patrick, is Pokemon in your number 2 or number 3 slot?
Sorry, I just realized time. Oh, wait, that's where it is. No, we're fine. Trying to keep track of what we're talking about to make future Seth's life easier. It is not in my 2 or 3 slot. Pokemon is my number 4 for this year.
Okay, which one did you do?
Violet.
You went Violet? Okay.
I went Violet. I woke up and I chose Violet.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, address it by its full name. It's your number 3.
Yeah, no, it's very hard. It was a very close competition picking between Scarlet and Violet and this, and I didn't want both Pokemon games taking up positions in my top 5, so I was like very firm. I'm going to have to pick between one of these, and it just comes down to the reasons that Steven put it down is why I'm picking it up. I like the battle systems a little bit more than what's
I thought you were going to say you like the Nintendo GameCube-esque water.
The water glitching out the Pokeball is so soulful. Like when you're catching a Pokemon in water and it goes underneath and like the water texture starts making the Pokeball texture freak out. That's peak.
when you look in the distance and there's a chunk error and there's actually a flying Gyarados and you're like, finally.
Yeah. No, I just think overall this first attempt at a open Pokemon game, I thought was a little bit better. Like being able to just throw a Pokeball to catch weaker level Pokemon, I appreciate a lot more than just having to enter a battle to catch them. It just takes a little bit of monotony out of it. But in that sense, the game was also going more towards the idea of you got to catch a lot of the Pokemon to fill out their Pokédex entries, whereas Scarlet and Violet can be just you catch it once and you're done. I also think that the Let's Go mechanic from Gen 9 was done a little better in this game in that you could bring out any of your 6 Pokemon at any time by shifting them with the D-pad instead of having to go into the menu and then changing out who your party leader is.
I hated it because it encouraged more crafting. And crafting does not belong in Pokemon games. There, I said it.
That's fair, but in the sense of like sending them out, sending them out or whatever, I think that was like a little bit better designed than what was in Scarlet and Violet.
All I'm thinking of from Pokemon Legends Arceus chat is I don't remember how it transpired, but someone stuck that meme of imagine being caught in Arceus just to be labeled as part of the heavy specimen for the species.
Yeah,
and it was right when you when you posted about your second cheeseburger or some shit, and it was like, well, I guess we're changing Seth's nickname in the group chat.
Yep, it was. I think it was Heavy Specimen for like 6 months.
It was,
like that, yeah.
and it was great because no matter how bad my day was, seeing Heavy Specimen as posted in Fast Travel Lounge just made my day.
I'm glad to make that day a little bit better for you then.
And then opening it and seeing that the thumbnail is sponsored by Ford Truck Mom.
Yeah, we still haven't changed that.
God, we need to. Welcome to the minds of a psychopath.
The shiny noise, very appreciated in this. No idea why they took that out of Scarlet and Violet.
Wait. You played with sound?
Yeah, playing with sound is very important, apparently.
Too. But actually, to me, I don't know how you do it, Pat. I do not know how you do it. Just you and the void, eh?
What do you mean? I have all the voices in my head to keep me company.
Well, I'm trying to escape them.
I also know this was a point that we disagreed on in the spoiler cast, but generally, I think Arceus was a nicer looking game, and I think the maps are a little more interesting. Like, Scarlet and Violet, to me, the map design doesn't do a whole lot for me. Like, there's nothing like very memorable about the maps. While
Seth, I gotta ask, are you okay knowing that Josh isn't here to back up your shit takes?
Yeah, no, I need. He didn't like either of these games. He
doesn't like anything.
He'd probably be spinning in his chair, like just trying to avoid the topic. But
bad.
With him gone, someone needs to pick up the bad take fodder.
No, I will agree that the map design in parts of Arceus is more memorable than the map design in parts of Scarlet Violet, but I heavily disagree on Scarlet Violet being a worse looking game overall. Even the fact that they turned the saturation up above 1 was nice.
Yeah, it's probably just a me thing, but I think that the water color aesthetic looks better in Arceus than the plain look of Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, it's a weird art style choice in Arceus. And I can sort of get your point about, like, because it has different zones, each zone is, like, unique and individual. Whereas with the open world in Scarlet and Violet, it is a lot more...
It blends together.
Yeah, it blends together. But there was a couple of, like, for lack of a better word, soulful moments. Like, they've got those, the 10 wonders of Paldea lying around in Scarlet and Violet. And, like, it'll be like a fucking mountain hanging upside down, or you're in a cave and it's just a big fucking hole in the ground or something. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's no reward for getting there. It's like, oh, hey, this looks cool.
My favorite 10 spots of Paldea is when you get to a lookout tower and it's like the lights of the Electric City, and it's like, yeah, cool. I can see those smeared in Vaseline in 240p.
Yeah, like it definitely.
I'm still waiting for someone to make the joke about the best 10 things to see around Paldea taking out the fucking spikes in the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, that was shit. Oh.
Man, they really needed to give you a map for that.
That was you don't do it. Like, that's not fun. It's just grinding. They can make it easier to do, but that doesn't change the fact that it's the shittest part. Like, it's the shittest part of any open world. Is like, oh, got to pick these 10 collectibles up. I don't want to. Don't make me do it.
It's not even you have to go pick them up. It's that you have to go pick them up and you don't know where they are.
And you don't have a good way to track how many you've picked up.
Yeah, that's right, because the chains don't move.
Yeah, they move with every 2 you've taken.
But I could sort of justify it if it was like if there was like it did the Breath of the Wild thing and you're up high and if you look down at night you can see them sparkling. But the draw distance doesn't exist for that. There's no way to force it to be night. You'd have to wait the fucking 20 minutes for it to become night.
Steve, be careful how heavy you rail against Violet, because we need, like, you and I are in agreement that Violet's better than Arceus, so just simmer down, all right?
No, well, Arceus does the same thing with the fucking Spiritomes things, and there's like a million of those. Man, I'm like 100. Oh, man, I'm going 10 rounds with fucking Spiritomb at the moment. That was the worst fucking part of Arceus.
Yeah, no, the Spiritomb quest is pretty bad as well, for the exact same reasons.
Yeah, I understand why you have to get 108 of them, because that's how many souls are trapped into Spiritomb. Don't fucking make me do it.
Especially since some of them only appear at night or day, and you don't have a good way of knowing which ones that you've gotten. It's just mindless searching for objects in an open world is not a good activity.
I'm still fucking hate Assassin's Creed 2 for introducing us to that.
Yeah, those feathers
Oh, yeah?
fucking sucked.
Well, however much you hate it, I hate it more because I collected all of them and then didn't get the trophy.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
that's
I
right, I
did
remember
it.
this story,
I did them
yeah.
all, but at least I got a trophy, so I can be happy about that.
Yeah,
Patrick gets
see,
nothing.
At least when you die and go to the afterlife and Osiris or whoever the fuck weighs your heart against all the sins you've committed, at least you've got the platinum trophy in your favor. So I feel like they got heavy real quick.
I didn't know how to follow up.
I was trying to think of because I got the 1,000 gamer score on Xbox. It's not called a platinum trophy. It's just like I got all the achievements.
Which is funny because Xbox has recently, well, not recently, but at the end of the 360 life cycle, I think it was, they added a platinum trophy equivalent for achievements, but it gives you 0 gamer score.
No, they have not. That is only some games that do that.
Oh, only some games do that.
Yeah,
I thought it was part of
yeah.
every game at some point.
Nah, some games do. Like, for example, like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm series will be like the last achievement of the game, and it's like worth like 25% of the gamer score. And others will do, it's worth like 10 gamer score, which is what the fucking point. And other games will be like 0, and then some games do like no.
Yeah, I remember it was like Naruto Storm Revolution, I think it was, the one between 2
and 3. Yeah, because
the one
between 3
2
and 4
and
is
3.
generations.
Yeah. Actually no, I think it might have been Generations then. Yeah, I was playing that on 360 and I was like, oh hey, there's an achievement here for get all the other achievements, but it's worth 0 points.
Yeah, some of them do, some of them don't.
But yeah, it's a very close being between both Scarlet and Violet and Arceus for me, but just slightly prefer Arceus. Both are very strong contenders for the year though, and I think that they should be merited for both being fantastic games. And Game Freak, I don't know how the fuck they did it, releasing 2 full Pokemon games in 1 year, but they somehow did it, and I hope they get
Well, it's
a
easy.
proper
They just
break.
cut out all the voice acting.
Yeah.
Well, and don't forget, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out like what, 2 months before Arceus? So,
Yeah, but I give them a little. I don't count that because that wasn't a Game Freak game.
and that was literally just Gen 4 done again.
Yeah, and it was just a chibi skin of a Gen 4.
Yeah, looking back, if I could redo one episode, it'd be like the episode we did on Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Because looking back, that game did really nothing for me. Like it.
Yeah,
Gen 4 was just a shit generation.
you and Josh were all over that game from memory. Like you were both singing its praises.
Yeah, I think looking back on it, there's a lot of choices they made that I'm like, Anyway.
And we'll just quickly springboard off that real quick. Any other regrets that just come to mind in terms of like, oh man, I got that wrong, or man, I've really changed my opinion on that since whenever the episode came out?
Playing ukulele in the Impossible Lair, that was your shit game.
Bayonetta 3 for me. I came into that singing his praises a little too much. Not singing his praises. I feel like I was pretty evenly split on talking about his positives and negatives. But I feel like I scored it a little too high at the time, and I adjusted it on my own.
Yeah, I was listening to Giant Bomb's Game of the Year, and they were talking about most disappointing, and there was Bayonetta 3 was a solid contender for it.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like Bayonetta 3. I came away from it really enjoying it. But yeah, I understand why people didn't take to it as well as I did.
Will I play it?
The one that sticks out in my mind, just quickly, it's not even a game. It's when I talk about Lightyear, because I stand by that I really enjoyed Lightyear as a film, but I came into whatever episode that was singing its praises and talking about how good it was as a film. But just ever since then, it's just been sort of recontextualized as, but it was a Toy Story film. It was set in the kind of meta Toy Story universe because, this is the movie about the toy that was Buzz Lightyear. Just all of I realized that I was judging it on it being a film in its own right and not it being and not it in context of being a kind of Toy Story IP sort of film. And that if you put it's a Toy Story film and everything else back over it, God, it's forgettable. So I don't know.
I haven't gone around to watching that
about
myself, but that seems to be the general takeaway as well.
Yeah, and it's a shame because it's like I really enjoyed a lot of that film, but then you just sort of think about it a bit longer and you're like, actually, it was probably really shitty that they just called it Lightyear in order to get people riled up because it's attached to a Toy Story IP and not strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet. But Yeah. Anyway, I don't think I have any regrets about any of the games that I've talked about. All my reviews have been perfect and completely on point, 100% success rate. So,
Patrick, did we get to your number 2 yet? Because I know I kind of skipped down to going to my number 3 since Pokemon was brought up.
It's totally fine because my number 2 was Elden Ring. I mentioned that when we were talking about it. So,
right, yeah.
We're still on track. Don't worry. Praise the process. But I guess I'll flip to my number 3. Sorry, I'm just trying to loosely keep tabs on how long things have been taking on where I can, just because I appreciate future Seth's editing efforts. My number 3, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Oh, yeah. That one was... I'm surprised, well, not surprised after how much we've talked about it and all the disappointment you've expressed since, but at the time, it was, you came away going, yeah, I'm enjoying this more than Elden Ring, so now to see at the end of after the year's done, you come back with a lot of, yeah, no, I've put Elden Ring above it.
Yeah, so we definitely talked about, it was already the 2 episodes that I mentioned. Where are we? Elden Ring, we answered, not that one. Yeah, Tiny Tina's Mouthful of Chaos. So episode 17, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on it. And I'm pretty sure we revisited it again a bit later after some of the DLC came out.
When the DLC came out.
The DLC was a train wreck. Yeah, the DLC was
you cried on the podcast for 30 minutes. That was your section.
Yeah, exactly. I think we actually just called it Pat's therapy session. And there was like an exclamation mark and someone put like red highlighter over it. In the moment, playing through the base game of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it did everything right in a game that I really enjoyed. The writing and humor, the IP, the universe, the storytelling, all of that is stuff that I really enjoyed. And I stand by that. Where it falls over is that, one, the DLC was an absolute shit show. I think I don't even know if they've released the 4th DLC.
At this point, you don't care?
Kind of. I've technically paid for I did pay for the season pass, so technically I should care, is what I meant to say. That I see the value in all 4 DLCs, but first 2 were absolute, just like, they were technically DLCs, but by the loosest possible definition. One of them introduced a new class, which I haven't gone back and played as because of the hybrid class system, which is a selling point of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and I think it's really cool that you can do that. The hybrid class mechanic. I explain it more in the full episode. But the problem is that was all in this little window way back in, when was that episode now? March. Yeah, that makes sense. So as of about April or May, every point past that, playing Tiny Tina's has either been maxing out the remaining couple characters that I played, which is a lot of grinding, but like the generally fine, I'm okay with it grinding because I've got something on the other screen that's taking up more of my attention, or the DLC, which was a shit show. Now, that does 2 things. One, it reminds me of how absolutely phenomenal Borderlands 2 was. Like,
is that a good thing or a bad thing, though?
So that's it's a double-edged thing, right? So that's part 1. I'll come back to that. The second part is that when I think back on all of the fantastic little moments and experiences and things that have made up my gaming in 2022, Elden Ring is so easy to name so many good moments. Tiny Tina's has stuff going for it, but it just doesn't have the staying power because it is, like a continuation of the Borderlands IP. It doesn't do anything crazily outlandish because it's effectively an extension of a DLC that came out in Borderlands 2, which makes you think back to Borderlands 2, and then makes you think, by comparison, compared to what else came out in 2012, like, we went through this, or at least I went through this when we were discussing games of, various stages of our lives in chat, and holy shit, 2012 was a strong year for gaming. And the fact that through that, Borderlands 2 sticks out as one of the games that I've just glued to and probably base way too much of my comedic personality on, at least on the writing of, exceptionally strong. And it's a double-edged sword because on one hand, it gives me a huge amount of appreciation for how good that game is. And I've spent 600-700 something hours in Borderlands 2 on PC and then another 100 or so on PlayStation Vita. And
oh God, you got the Vita version? How did that go?
Jesus Christ, I didn't even know there was a Vita version.
I think it was announced when the Vita was still coming out, and it didn't come till very late.
True. it's hard to enjoy after playing it on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The main thing that hampered it is that I love Borderlands 2 and I always will, but the idea of having to start completely from fresh yet again when I at that point had already maxed out a couple characters and had spent so much time in the PC version, all of that stuff. I was fine doing it in Rise because I knew I was going to get Sunbreak on PC, so there was an investment ready to go. But it was too hard to do that with the PlayStation Vita version. So played it for a bit. I've got some characters at some levels in there, but it was just too hard to keep up. But yeah, and then meanwhile, Elden Ring blew so much of what else came out last year out of the water in terms of being very unique, being very memorable, having a huge amount of staying power. And Tiny Tina's just, compared to other stuff that came out last year, just didn't have it. So I'm fine putting Elden Ring above Tiny Tina's. I enjoyed Tiny Tina's. I recommend people look at getting Tiny Tina's, particularly the base game and not the DLC. If the price is right for what you'd enjoy about it. But yeah, looking back after a year of gaming where both came out sort of March-ish last year, I have more fond memories and more moments that I can point to as going, that was an Elden Ring experience, that was amazing, versus that was Tiny Tina's, that was good. It was, but not good enough to put it above Elden Ring for my list.
I can believe that.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair argument on both sides of it.
Steve, did you give your third place?
No, I did not. But because I didn't really play that many games that came out in 2022, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to something that I played at the start of 2022, but came out a million years ago. Persona 4 Golden.
Hey, phenomenal game.
Yeah, it came out on PC. It's fantastic. I love the Persona game so much, even though I've only played 4 and 5. But it's probably been 4 years since I played the first, but when I played Persona 4 and I didn't play Golden, so there was a whole bunch of new stuff for me to do. I loved it. It was so good. It somehow felt nostalgic, like listening to all the music, interacting with all the characters, going through all the dungeons. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that I replayed it during the literally nearly 12 months ago, the Christmas break, because I could literally spend 4, 5, 6 hours straight playing it. And for someone like me, after 2 hours, I'm like, you know what? I want to do something else. But with that, I was just literally just putting so much time into it, and I loved it. I'd highly recommend anybody. But it's one of those games where I think it is very close to not the perfect game, but it is a perfect blend of when you've got to do combat and dungeon crawling and all that, and when you've got to do social links, and it has a great story that pushes it forward, and it's a bit of an actual mystery, and you want to find out what happens to these characters. You care.
There is a reason why Atlas milked Persona 4 for almost a decade.
Yeah, and why Persona 5 didn't come out for 8 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, speaking of Persona 5...
Is there an FTL episode that you expanded on Persona 4? Just because I've been trying, on one of my screens is our list of episodes, and I'm trying to bounce through them where something is people listening to this and they go, oh, I wonder what made P4G so good. Go back and listen to this episode. Did we talk about Persona 4?
I get the feeling we definitely would have.
I don't think we did, actually. I think you finished it during when we did our basically 1 month break last year, and you just moved on to talking about other things.
Because the problem is, in my head, we had all the news about all the different Personas coming to various platforms, but I don't remember if we discussed people playing particularly 4.
Potentially.
Yeah, I think at most we got Steven talking about how he really enjoys Persona 4, but never an actual big conversation about the game.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's sort of where I thought we were as well. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something obvious.
Yeah, no,
did we do a P4G episode? Let us know.
Yeah. Well, there's that meme of that guy that has made a video essay of Persona 4 Golden, and because of YouTube's file limits, it had to break it up into 2. So he's got one video that goes to 10 hours or 20 hours, and the other video that goes to pretty much half of that time. So it's pretty much 30 hours of him just talking about this game, which...
And I'm pretty sure somewhere in there he plugs Fast Travel Lounge.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. You have to watch it all in half speed to find out. Or if you send us your parents' credit card number, we'll give that to you.
You know, he mentions us very quickly, so that's why you have to listen to it at half speed.
Yeah, it's true. But he tried to say our name in full like fast travel mode, which you shouldn't do. No one needs to do that.
No, it's too much power, too much speed.
Yes.
But yeah. So Persona 4 Golden, it's fantastic. It is a very big time commitment. It is a very big JRPG. So it's one of those things that I'd only recommend to people that enjoy JRPGs. But at the same time, if everybody could play it, it'd be fantastic.
You're a very vocal hater of turn-based combat, and a lot of what Persona 4 does, and the fact that you sing its praises so much, I think should be a testament of like how good of a game is, and like maybe anyone could play it, even people that don't necessarily like RPGs.
Yeah, and I think it's I'm just piggybacking off Dragon Quest 11 that I recently played. And it's the way that you interact with the combat, I think. Because Persona 4, you do like a bunch of combat all in a row for then a big boss. And then you sort of go home and you're not playing the combat for sometimes 5, 6, 7 hours. You got a lot of social links to do, a lot of mini games to play.
In fact, I don't think your first combat encounter is for like until like 3 or 4 hours into the game.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time you are burnt out with the combat, it's like, okay, cool, time for social link stuff, time for story progression. And then by the time you're burnt out with story stuff, you're like, okay, cool, dungeon crawling stuff. Let's do it. Having said that though, Persona 5, is it, from what I remember, I played that game through like twice now, literally takes the Persona 4 and literally cranks it up to fucking 15.
And then Royal expands on that even more.
Makes it better, yeah. And that Royal I do need to play. It is out in Game Pass. I actually have it downloaded, and God, I want to play it. Every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, I'll just jump in. But I'm a bit burnt out.
Just 1 hour, bro. Just 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm a bit burnt out. I spent 80 hours on Dragon
Just
Quest.
1 hour gets you to Sojiro's house.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's 1 hour. I'm like, all right, can we stop now? But yeah, I will get to Persona 5. But yeah, just quick shout out for Persona 4 Golden. It's pretty much out everywhere now, I believe, or it comes out on the 20th everywhere else.
It comes out in 4 days on Xbox, and I guess everything else as well. I know it's Xbox for sure because they're advertising it for Game Pass. That and Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah, 3 Portable and 4. Yeah, I need to play 3 Portable as well.
Yeah, I was actually about to say maybe hold off on Persona 5 Royal for a bit. Maybe give Persona 3 Portable a try next.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried, because Persona 5 does a lot more gameplay things and makes it a lot more smooth, and it looks prettier, and the combat is a bit more fluid than 3. So it might be a bit hard to like go to a game that came out essentially when Persona 5 came out 2015, and then Persona 3 came out like what?
I think that was 2006.
2006, fuck that.
Yeah, they were very late PS2 games. I think Persona 3 was 2006 and Persona 4 was 2008.
Yeah, Persona 4 was like one of the last games to come out.
Yeah, they were
PS2.
like they were very late. They the PS3 and 360 were well into their life at that point.
Yeah. But yeah, quick shout out for that. I know it didn't come out in 2022, but that's one of my highlights of last year.
And what a highlight. God, I love Persona 4.
Yeah, God. Love it.
Cool. Well, I guess we'll just count that as your number 3 for this year then.
Yeah,
so
count it.
Is that you like out then, or do you have other ones that you can fill in with like a 4 and 5 also just good shit that you've played in the last year?
Replaying The Last of Us, well, Part 1, and playing The Last of Us 2. Fantastic. I love the experience of them.
Is that 4 and 5, or is that just 4?
What?
Like in your list? Like, are you counting those as separate entries, or
sorry,
like
I'm like,
The Last of Us in
The
general?
Last of Us 4. What the fuck are you talking about? I think the experience as a whole, like putting them together, that probably makes it number 4.
Yeah, sure.
If that makes sense.
Did you enjoy? Which version did you enjoy playing? Was it the game based on the game based on the game, or the game based on the game based on the upcoming series based on the game?
It was the PS4 version of the TV release of the PS3 game that's been remade into a PS5 game. That has been since rebranded.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. That fucking show, that TV show comes out soon. We watching, fellas?
We are. I saw a preview post from The Escapist talking about how much they enjoyed the show.
Yeah, everyone's reviews for it are coming out now, and it's getting a lot of like critical praise.
I'm sure the show's good. I'm sure it is, but the tentacle versus spore thing. Not, I don't know. I'm on the fence, but I'm hopeful that everything is as good as they say it is, because I will absolutely be watching that when I can. So was there a particular Last of Us bits that you wanted to highlight from your little trip down memory lane there, Steve?
I could probably talk about the whole thing. I like the whole story interaction. Maybe because The Last of Us Part 2 was sort of spoiled for me. I knew what happens. Like, spoiler alert, Joel dies in the first 20 minutes or so. I knew that.
Yeah, but only physically. He's still there in spirit.
Yeah. But I didn't know how that happens or then what happens afterwards. But I still thought that was a very good story, and the way it happened, it still shocked me, in the violent way that he died, and I could understand why it'd be very polarizing. I don't really understand how people could take an issue with the overall theme of the game being revenge is bad, and then when you get to the end of the game and you're Ellie and you've beaten the shit out of Abby, despite the fact Abby's been locked up for 6 months or something and she's quite wasted away to nothing. You beat the shit out of her, you get your revenge, and she's like, you know what? This is fucked. I hate this. It's really good. It's a really touching story. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. That's another game I can't recommend enough. The Last of Us remastered. Probably the PS4 version over the PS5 version, because fuck paying $80 for a game you can get on the PS4 for frequently it goes on sale for 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything else. It looks pretty fancy, but it's the same fucking game on the PS4 for $10. But yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Cool. I just flicking through the episode list to see that we have episode 25, The Last of Us Part 2 discussion cast.
Yeah, we went through that quite a lot, because I convinced both Saif and Josh to play it, didn't I?
Josh, not me. I haven't gone to episode yet.
Right.
Yeah. Josh, what are your thoughts on it? Yes, The Last of Us in silence. He sounds like how I play Switch games.
Man, I don't know how you fucking do that.
It's a mystery to all except Patrick, and he'll never explain.
I was gonna say I play with Braille, but I realize there's probably actually a way of doing that, and the people that do that are absolute ballers. But yeah, I don't know. I plug headphones in for the bits that I feel like I need to listen to, but otherwise I don't have a nice way of listening to audio when I play it, Doc. So it is what it is.
As much as I like derailing us,
yeah.
So how do you play it? Do you have your dock set up to your PC monitor or something?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wild. As someone who just love couch gaming, crazy.
And so I'm guessing your PC monitor doesn't have speakers to go out into?
It does not. I don't have speakers attached to my computer at all.
And the monitor that I
play Switch on. Yeah, exactly. And the monitor that I play Switch on is from 2010, I want to say.
You know what? They're still probably outperforming what the Switch resolution is.
Well, Switch has speakers. There you are.
Yeah, it's on my list of things to do if I ever come into a large sum of money to get a nice speaker monitor, not necessarily monitors in speakers in a monitor, but just having audio out on a monitor, and then I can play Switch, or if I shift my PS5 to where my computer is or anything else. But yeah, in no rush. My monitor's still going strong.
Nate,
why don't we jump to actually? Why do you have your number 5 to hit us with, Steve?
Well, I don't know. I've recently started playing Tunic and High on Life. Tunic is an indie game that came out 6 months ago, and High on Life is that Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty, his sort of first-person shooter that he did. And I'm really
right. So are you gonna pick one? Or are you gonna make me write both out?
Tunic, because it's a better game.
I'm glad you went that direction.
Well, for things we will cover late in future podcast episodes, because I've only played them last week. Tunic is a better game, while High on Life is funnier. It's more of a cinematic experience. And I'll probably get into Tunic a bit more later when I've got my thoughts a bit more padded out. But it's on Game Pass. Go play it right now. If you've got Game Pass. It's also on the Switch, I believe, and the PC, and I don't think it's on PlayStation. Sorry.
From what I've heard,
Tunic?
it's a perfect sort of Switch game.
It is very. It is. So the way that I described it was that it's if the creator of Dark Souls had a baby with old school, like the 90s Zelda. They couldn't take care of the baby because of financial troubles, or they were too young or whatever. And then they gave it to an indie developer, and the indie developer raised them up and put like a lot more soul and heart into it.
Just to correct Stephen quickly, Tunic is on PS4 and PS5.
Oh, we're doing fact checking now? That sounds like fake news.
Was the baby raised with like vengeance in its heart to go find its birth parents, or
the baby is raised in a way that you can definitely tell it doesn't belong to the parent that raised it, but the baby's attitude reflects the parent that raised it. It's a very weird analogy, I know.
It's happy that it was raised by that parent.
Yeah, like it doesn't try to be something it's not. There are bits where it's the Dark Souls, and it's the bits where it's the Zelda, and then there's the indie soul that sort of surrounds and is that game. Like it's got a lot of soul, it's got a lot of heart. It knows what it's trying to do, and it does that, and that's it. Like it doesn't try to overreach, is what I really appreciate about it. But I'll talk about that probably in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I was just about to say, so if you want to hear more of Steve's thoughts on that, go listen to episode 56? 56 question mark? Yeah, whenever we get around to recording that. Yeah, it does sound fun. Not sure it's the sort of game that I will play immediately, but it's the sort of game that sounds interesting enough that I will look at some point.
Yeah, Tunic's one of those games where I've seen it shown at a couple of game shows and it looks really good. I just haven't gone around to getting it myself just yet.
Yeah,
it is definitely one of those games that you either love it or you hate it. If you get frustrated in the first hour or two, put it down because it does not get better. Well, it's not that it doesn't get better, it's that it's just more of the same. It's like don't take a bite of a 4-liter tub of chocolate ice cream, not like it because you're a degenerate that doesn't like chocolate, and then finish the whole ice cream box and be like, hey, this was actually chocolate ice cream. It's like it fucking says it on the box. What do you expect in the first spoonful?
I think we've had more creative analogies out of the last 4 minutes of Steve talking about Tunic than at any point in our 54 episode history.
That's showbiz, baby.
This man plays High on Life one time.
This is what happens when you play a game with soul.
Well, with High on Life, like I'm not saying there's a lot of pickle jokes in it, but actually there's no pickle jokes in it. It's actually quite depressing.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah.
Seth, quickly. Yeah. Seth, quickly lighten the mood. What was your number 4?
My number 4 was Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Of course it was.
Gotta add another Square Enix game onto the list. But no, Crisis Core is something that I've always enjoyed, even back as a PSP game. This remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, just massively improves that game. I'll talk about it a little bit more in depth at a later point because it's something I played over the break. No, really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. Zack is probably one of the best Final Fantasy characters ever made, and just getting his story done is really good.
Isn't that the guy from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
No, that's Yozora from Kingdom Hearts.
I don't know who that is, man.
he is a secret boss for Kingdom Hearts 3.
I haven't Hearts 3. But yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I have to got him set off about fucking Kingdom Hearts now.
No, I'm done.
Oh, thank God. So from what I've heard about Crisis Core, it apparently still feels like a PSP game.
Yeah, no, it's just a PSP game, but made prettier, and the combat system's been vastly improved. Everything in design, length of the game, what you do in it, it's all just the PSP game, 1-to-1.
Actually, hang on. You know what? if you'll let me to rant for a second. I know I've talked a lot on this podcast, and I fucking will continue to. Why the fuck did this come out on the Xbox, but Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy XIV are being blocked? What are we doing here, fellas? What are we doing?
I guess you could say there's a crisis.
Oh.
I have a running theory that I have a running theory that Final Fantasy VII is going to come to Xbox when the entire trilogy is done.
You know what? Good. I hope it comes to Game Pass Day 1. Get fucked.
It probably will at that point.
Thanks for beta testing.
At that point, they probably will. They'll probably take the payout from Microsoft to put it on Game Pass Day 1.
I know it's copium, but I kind of feel like Steve gets the high ground on this, and I'm really scared to say that out loud.
I love this. Well, but at the same time, it hasn't come out yet. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch, or count our chocobos before they hatch, to use a Final Fantasy term.
Well, just remember, if it's bad, they just need to make an anime.
They need to make a live service game that'll fail.
With NFTs.
And blockchain technology.
All right, settle down. We don't need any of that.
Yeah, as for Final Fantasy 14, fuck if I know. They mention it every now and then. Phil Spencer's mentioned it as well. It's just one of those things where the game's on fire so much that they don't have time to make the Xbox version.
Oh, no, now we've set them off about Final Fantasy 14.
No, that was all I needed to say about that.
What do you mean on fire? What, on fire from the number of people that just can't keep handing money to Square Enix fast enough?
Yeah, that.
Well, don't forget last year, you couldn't buy that game for a bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was on fire.
It was so fucking popular. They're like, nah, you're not buying it anymore. Crazy.
That and the engine's just that old.
And
They're always putting out
true
fires.
homage to Final Fantasy 14. We're interrupting Seth talking about literally anything.
There we go. And the universe has healed itself.
Okay, Seth, you can speak now.
Moving on to my number 5. I mentioned it before, but it's Bayonetta 3. I get why people are disappointed in this game, but no, I just
but
really
not you.
Yeah, but not me. I enjoyed it. The combat's
you'll take your tube of paste and you'll eat it yourself in the corner like a big
glue. My favorite. No, like the combat system's still really good, even if it's not as good as Bayonetta 1 and 2's combat systems are. The story is nonsense, but Bayonetta stories are always nonsense. It's just even with the handicaps it has, it's still one of the best types of action games out in the market, because Platinum's just that good, and all the set piece moments in the game I really enjoy. They have their own visual flair that only Platinum does in these sort of games, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's something that I really enjoy about these games. So I just really like Bayonetta 3.
Nice. I know that we talked about Bayonetta 3 in an episode, but I do not remember when.
It wasn't all that long ago either.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty semi-frequent. Maybe not frequent's the right word, but not that long ago.
I know I mentioned it for the first time in the guest episode, and then I think I talked about it a little bit more the episode after.
Listen to all our episodes last year to find out more.
Well, like give a rough month at least to narrow it down for people that want to people that want to listen to more.
Oh, I'm looking through the episode list now because I know which one was the guest episode. So it would have been episodes 47 and 48.
Cool. Well, you can go and listen to those.
Oh wait, no, not 48, because that was when we got back onto our pink tier list. So episodes 47 and episode 50.
Oh yeah. Cool. Right.
About you, Pat? 4 and 5 for you, baby?
Yeah, round mine out. Number 4 is Pokemon Violet. I'm not going to rehash a bunch of what's already been said because you guys have said a good chunk of it already.
And we have the spoiler cast.
Exactly, and we have
Number
the spoiler
4.
cast.
Interesting. Really think you know someone.
What, you thought it would be higher or lower?
Higher.
Really? Higher than Tiny Tina? Dreaming.
Well, I thought the DLC thing with Tiny Tina might have...
Yeah, no, I would have thought the same, actually.
Yeah, that would rock the boat too much. That it's like, oh shit, it's Jane. You know what? Fuck this game.
Hey, well, you know what? At least Tiny Tina had voice acting. There, I said it.
You know what? I hated him because he was right.
He hit us where it hurt the most.
People have been crucified for less.
A lot less.
Yeah,
he knew exactly where to strike to do the most damage.
Critical hit.
Funnily enough, critical hit as rolled by a dice roll in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Boom, double reference. Get fucked. We covered this whole thing in FTL Checkpoint, which was only 2 episodes ago. And it's the only one with a different thumbnail in the Spotify list, so it should be easy to find. Guess which one on the thumbnail is my trainer's image? I'm not going to tell you. And number 5.
I will. It's the default trainer.
Come on, man.
Listen, you dealt critical damage. I needed to get a win somehow.
I don't think that was the win you thought it was, big fella.
It wasn't, but it still felt good.
It was the loss I thought it was. Don't worry. And number 5. Any guesses?
I actually don't know.
I reckon you're going to say Cult of the Lamb.
I'm going to guess Need for Speed Unbound.
Double interesting. I do need to. My lawyer will have me ask you, Saif. Is it because you're looking at the shared doc where I put my top 5?
No, actually,
you're a fucking cheat. You're a cheat, Saif. I fucking knew it. You're a fucking cheat.
I'm not actually, and I'm going to put myself on blast for a second. I'm watching someone do cardboard do-it-yourself things, like making a.
Wait, you're not even listening to the podcast, man. What's the fucking point?
I've been talking and active, but at the same time, I've been watching this dude make like vending machines out of cardboard and being amazed.
Couldn't even keep your focus.
I'm trying my best to think about how I can defend Seth by saying, "Don't worry, we're sharing a brain cell." I'm not even sure if I can do that with cardboard vending machines. That's a level beyond what I'm capable of. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is Unbound. It is Unbound. Cult of the Lamb does get honorable mention. It is fun. It is probably one of the more unique games, certainly that I can think of that I played in the last year. But the problem is, and I know that I talked about this in an episode, but I do not remember which one. If I scroll quickly back through it, I'm sure there would be some sort of culty pun in the episode title if I look.
Well, I just thought Cult of the Lamb would be higher because, you know, you're from New Zealand and all that.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, you know what? The episode that I was thinking I might have talked about it in was begging Steve for a new microphone, so...
And look where that got us.
Hey, I did get a new microphone. I shelled out quite a lot of money.
Yeah, and I did fuck the sheep. Wait.
On the good microphone.
Yeah, I don't remember... I really don't remember which episode it was. It would be somewhere in the ballpark of 40-ish, episode 40-ish. Yeah, maybe 37? Can't quite tell. Anyway, Cult of the Lamb, super interesting, super unique. The main thing that holding it back is that reading around was interesting because a few other people had the same complaint. The game was too split between the base building and the combat, and it was really hard to enjoy the combat when there was so many things requiring attention in the base building. And so it had problems, basically. Game, but it had problems. But Unbound, also a great game of problems. But the reason why Unbound got it and Cult of the Lamb didn't is that I could see a little bit of the DNA of Burnout Paradise, which is still probably my favorite racing game. Certainly on hours played it is. Forza might be catching it, actually. But yeah, Unbound, I was just really happy with it. I slightly annoyed, actually, full disclosure, really fucking annoyed that I paid full price for it, and then within a month I see it go down to like 40% off. And
Steven, is there something you want to say about that?
Yeah, I was going to say, let me hear it, Steve. Come on.
You know what? The implication's already there. I don't need to say anything.
The damage to my wallet's already been done.
Yeah, it's already been done. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Never buy a game on release. Don't at me about Pokemon. That's different. Nintendo games do not go on sale. That is not something within my control. And don't at me about Fire Emblem as well. I got the 2-for-1, not the 2-for-1, like the 2 for 50% off the other game. Those voucher things that Switch gives out.
Double voucher. Yeah.
Double voucher. So that's how I justify it.
And also, Nintendo games never go on sale.
They never go on sale. I don't know what Doug Bowers is doing, but maybe one day they will. Maybe one day. Well, Nintendo first-party games don't go on sale. For whatever reason, Mario Rabbids goes on sale for like $5 every 3 months, and I don't know why.
Yeah, true.
That's because that's a Ubisoft game. Also, I went and looked at it. Cult of Land was talked about on episode 37.
Yo, what did I say? 37?
I don't know.
I think you
I'm
said...
pretty sure I said episode 37.
I think you said 36, which is very close to 37.
I joked about the episode title being Begging Steve for a New Microphone, and then I said I'm pretty sure it was around 40, and then I said I'm pretty sure it was 37, but I didn't look into it any harder. Anyway, it was around when I said it was. I'm good enough with that. Close enough. C+ is still a passing grade. C to get degrees, all that. Unbound, really liked the aesthetics, really liked the music, really liked most of how the gameplay plays and feels. A mate of mine who also plays it put it to me in a way that I didn't actually think of, in that because he was also a massive fan of like Burnout Paradise, Hot Pursuit, all the other sort of Criterion-esque games. He was saying it's close, but the highs are higher, but the lows are lower than other Criterion games, and that's actually a pretty fair assessment, because when the game's working well, it's really it works really well. It's real easy to get into it, but when the game just wants to bend you over a barrel, boy howdy does it take pleasure in doing so. Still haven't finished that either, partially because it's actually still relatively new, which is why I'm even more disgusted it got so cheap so quickly. But
yeah, no, that came out not even about a month ago now.
A month ago. Yeah. It was just into December when it came out, December 2nd-ish, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, been out for just over a month. But yeah, I intend to finish it at some point. I don't know whether it's higher or lower than Ragnarok in priority, but yeah, when it's working well, I really enjoy it. And full disclosure again, I was going to put Forza Horizon 5 in my list, and then I had to look it up and went, oh no, that came out last year, 2 years ago, not last year, because of the Forza Horizon Power Hour. Shout out to that banger of an episode.
Mistakes were made, lessons were learned.
Lessons were learnt. Yeah, so I think that rounds out everyone's top 5 for the year, which is cool. I know that we have a little bit of time left. I don't think we're going to do a new section. This will just be a year in reflection type thing. So we got a little bit of time left. Anyone want to put in one of the worst or negatives of things that they've played this year?
Oh.
I'll go first. All of the Tiny Tina DLC.
Simultaneously, both top and bottom, eh?
Yeah, I'm not going to expand on that. Oh, also, while I was thinking of Tiny Tina's being my third best, one other thing on my wish list, which no one has talked about, and I don't know if it's for a good reason or not. Second Tales of the Borderlands came out this year, or last year.
New Tales of the Borderlands. That's right, it did too. It just dropped and it was like, yeah, this is it.
I haven't heard anyone mention it.
I've never heard of a single thing.
It just occurred to me when I was talking through Tiny Tina's my recap of it. But yeah, that's also I guess it's in my wish list. I don't think it's going to make top 5 because I haven't heard anything about it, but I do intend to play it at some point.
Yeah, that's something I completely forgot about. I still need to play the original of that as well, like the original Tales of the Borderlands.
Yeah, no, the first one's really good. It's currently 40% off on the Nintendo eShop.
Wait, new Tales of the Borderlands?
Yeah, but then you have to play it on the Switch, which means you won't get sound.
True. I might add it to my Steam wish list and see.
Hey, might as well. Like it's currently $60 on Xbox. Absolutely fine. Metacritic 5.0. No. Ooh.
Oh God.
Zero critic reviews. So I don't know. Oh, hang on, it's a Switch version. Never mind.
Oh, that's fine. That's expected. That's actually doing well for a Switch game.
Yeah, got some reviews.
Yeah. What else do we have? Can we count the negative gaslighting of Cyberpunk as a winner or fail for last year?
Look,
kind of both.
It's a net positive because they did so many fixes to the game, and realistically, this anime thing was always going to come out. It was just at a weird time where it was, oh hey, we've done all these upgrades and it's in 4K now, and we've added some content. Here's an anime that's actually pretty decent. So I guess where it stands.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, the game came around on its own. It's just that the anime helped people realize that happened.
Yeah, which I think it is a very good example of games starting off shit and sort of doing the horseshoe turnaround. And not only
the old No Man's Sky arc.
Don't even get me started on man. No Man's Sky's done that perfectly without an anime, so it's still above. Oh man, what No Man's Sky has done is fucking impressive.
Yeah,
they give out more content for free.
I'm so glad that they get maybe not the recognition per se, but the fact that they get nominated for video game awards and stuff. Just after how much of a pit they were in, climbing themselves out like they have done is amazing, and that's actually another thing for the wish list. Go back and revisit No Man's Sky. Not technically because it came out last year, but I need to.
Well, they've done like 2 or 3 expansions. So I played it midway through 2020, and they've had like 3 or 4 more expansions since.
Yeah, they're adding shit faster than Capcom's adding free content to an expansion pack. So yeah,
maybe Capcom and Hello Games should make a game together. Monster Hunter Sky.
but then
No Man's Hunter.
due to financial difficulties and cost of living increases, they have to give it to an indie dev to raise.
Nice.
You'll get a lot of soul, but no more free content.
Maybe.
Other fails. Mobile gaming in general.
Gacha gaming in general.
Every live service game that Square Enix released.
That's true.
More like Babylon's fail, am I right, fellas?
We made that joke when it came out.
Yeah, and I'm making it again. There we go.
He's right,
This isn't exactly a fail, but this was a minor disappointment to me. I got Rollerdrome when it came out. I don't think I've talked about it on content, but that was a game that I was really looking forward to, and it was good, but by the end of that game, I was worn out of it because it expected too much of you by the end of it. Like, it really wanted you to master everything that it offers, and I don't think that for me personally, going that deep into it wasn't as rewarding as they might have expected.
That's a shame.
What do you mean by him? Was it just like a weird game to play?
It feels like a lot of things are working against you in that game. Like, a lot of the enemy designs aren't intuitive or very annoying to deal with. Like, there's enemies where if you shoot them once, then they're going to teleport away. So what you really need to do is get a dodge perfect so that in slowed down time you can charge up a sniper shot to headshot them specifically, and that'll one-shot them. But you're also under constant a constant time limit of trying to beat a certain time to get a good score. And later levels also have enemies that are like constantly hounding you, trying to ground pound you, and that'll do like one hit KO or very close to it. So it's a lot of hard elements working against you, and you just have to kind of perfect it.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts teetering on towards the frustrating end of difficulty.
Yeah, interesting.
Any other? Can we count EA losing FIFA license as a fail?
I feel like that's
not gaming related. Well, I mean,
no, let's see how it turns out. Like, as much as I love ripping game licenses from EA's cold hands, let's see what they come up with. We could be on the verge of truly the worst game of all time.
Fair, but an actual fail, Overwatch 2 launch.
Yeah. That's one.
You know what's funny? Seeing sorry, Saif, but just seeing Blizzard seeing Facebook run suggested for you ads from Blizzard about skins available in Overwatch 2, and there is 0 engagement.
Oh, that's so good to see.
Oh, I love it. I'm not normally a big Schadenfreude guy, but when I am,
There was one I was going to mention. I don't think any of us have played it, but do we want to count Callisto Protocol? And like the reception that's gotten both from press and fans.
Yeah, that's.
Was that a fail, or was that just sort of a
disappointing?
Not great? Yeah, it was a disappointment more than a fail, I think.
Yeah, I guess we can count it more that way.
It wasn't a fail in the sense of like a Cyberpunk. It came out broken and everybody was mad at it. It didn't bomb.
Came out
it just
didn't.
This is shit. I don't like it. You made all these choices that were bad.
I feel like it was more of a fail to meet expectations sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, in that sense, you count that as a fail. Yeah, cool. I don't really have any more to add. It was just a quick. It's basically a quick fuck you, Activision Blizzard, and on we go. Any others from the boys?
The entire arc of Xbox trying to buy Activision Blizzard King.
Hey, that's not over yet.
Wait, let's just see how that plans out.
Yeah, no, it's still ongoing, but the facts of it's getting all this blowback, and like just it feels like every couple of weeks we get a news story about it. Feels like a failure on their end. They would have liked that to be wrapped up by now.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Well, in the final couple minutes that will close out this Reflections on 2022 episode, is there a game or games that you're looking forward to for 2023?
Oh God. Okay, I wasn't prepared for that, but I got a few.
Okay, don't worry. I am. I'll hit you with my three. I am looking forward to Breath of the Wild sequel, whatever Tears of the Fallen, whatever they gave the actual title as. Sure. Hollow Knight DLC. Looking forward to that, and only because I'm counting that in the same sort of vein as I was looking forward to Sunbreak, which I can guarantee was what I said I was looking forward to the most this time last year. And what was the other one? There was one other. Alan Wake 2. I'm a little nervous because I haven't seen a huge amount about it, and I much prefer the Twin Peaks style mystery of Alan Wake 1 than the American Horror Story of the weird sort of standalone DLC thing that they did. But if Alan Wake 2 is up, like if they are returning to Alan Wake 1 with Alan Wake 2, I'm excited. I don't think Control 2 is 2023 release. I think that's 2024. Anyone know?
I didn't think they even put a year on it.
Yeah, I don't think they put a year on it. I'd assume next
well, definitely
year.
not 2023 then. Yeah. Anyway, those are my couple. Any others that you guys want to toss your name in the ring? There's no Elden Ring this time to anchor everything to.
Well, Fire Emblem that comes out in like 9 days. Very excited for that. That should be really good from everything that I've seen so far. But those games are always really good anyway. As much as I don't want to get too political with this statement, I do have an eye on Hogwarts Legacy. No secret that I love the Harry Potter world, and despite the fact that J.K. Rowling literally just needs to fucking step away from Twitter and stop being...
Don't worry, Elon Musk is doing his best to make sure J.K. Rowling can never tweet on Twitter again.
Doing my best that none of us can tweet on Twitter again.
Exactly.
I knew that was the joke you were going towards.
If JK can't have Twitter, no one can.
Us billionaires got to stick together.
God.
But I'm very...
That's so true. God damn it.
Shout out to Jim Ryan going, oh yeah, there's Hogwarts Legacy is an important release for PlayStation 5 because he is also British.
British moment. You got a license for that. But no, I am looking forward to that game. I love the Harry Potter world. It's sort of one of those games that I'm thinking, oh, of course, I can be my own witch or wizard and play through it. But at the same time, I don't know how it's going to go. Is it going to be like a generic sort of weird third person shooter that's like a magic caster? I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is it's a good one to raise. It's not my sort of game, but then again, neither was Elden Ring. So if it somehow does a mini Elden Ring and everyone goes, actually, this game is really good, then yeah, chances are I'll pick it up and play it as well.
Yeah, and chances are though you'll get people that are playing it, or like 80% of the people playing it's like, oh, it's a Harry Potter game. I want to play Harry Potter, and they're like, oh, I don't like this, and I'll put it down. So I see this game making its sales target simply for the brand recognition, but it.
Oh yeah, no, I've been expecting that.
Yeah, it's the Game Freak approach.
Yeah, but how much care they put into the game? I'm like, there's so much
with the zero voice acting in the Wizarding world.
Well, it's 3 weeks away from what I've seen, like the gameplay videos and trailers that they've shown. It looks like it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, that last overview, well, not last, but that big overview they showed a couple months back, I think when they did the PlayStation State of Play for it.
The 20-minute one, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, yeah, the one with the DLC exclusive to PS5.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, boy!
It's not funny at all.
Watching that, it didn't really do anything for me and kind of convinced me that it was like the sort of game that I'm not going to like, so I'm going to skip out on it myself for that reason. Like, even avoiding all the controversy stuff, it just doesn't look like something I'd enjoy, so I'm just going to skip out on it.
Yeah, fair. Having too much fun eating glue in the corner playing Stranger of Paradise.
I enjoy that Jack-flavored glue.
Okay, all
Actually, Forza Horizon 5 should be getting its second DLC sometime. I'm surprised they haven't announced it, actually, because the Hot Wheels came out 6 odd months ago now, I think. But that's due to come out surely sometime soonish.
Also, before anybody else says it, don't forget we are pretty much 6 months away from
Among Us VR. Oh.
Sorry,
no. Similar games, I guess. But what were you saying?
Starfield.
Oh yeah.
Fallout or in space. This has been a big push that the Microsoft Bethesda acquisition has been pushing. Remember, it was supposed to come out last year, and then 2 weeks beforehand, they're like, "Nah, it's not coming out." So I'm very, very interested to see what that looks like, especially with recent things like how Halo Infinite first looked like when they showed that at E3 in 2020 with that Craig brute, and they got pretty much taken off. It's like, no, it'll come out when it's ready. And then Cyberpunk completely shitting and pissing the bed.
Or Sonic the Hedgehog, the original concept art coming out, and everyone going, no, none of that.
I still believe that was a false flag operation.
I don't know, because they had so many things leak about merchandise and stuff that they were all on board for it.
It's a psyop. Everything's a CIA psyop. I'm telling you right now. You heard it here first.
It's just the implication that giving Sonic human teeth could possibly be a false flag operation by Paramount is like, I'm not a big Illuminati guy, but God, I wish it were real specifically for that conspiracy.
Well, but it's the same type of things, like that type of thing creates so much outrage that they actually do it. And then you've got like dumb shit like kids dressing up in suits to watch the Despicable Me movie.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, at what point do you realize that, like, you this day and age, as someone who went to uni for a marketing degree, you literally can't fucking predict it. Like, if I said a bunch of teenagers...
I actually completely forgot about that. That was so good.
If someone at uni is like, oh, viral marketing, oh yeah, cool. A bunch of teenage kids dressing up in suits to watch Despicable Me. I'm like, all right, how'd you do that? So I don't know, it just happened. And they were like bringing bananas and shit into it as well. Like, at what point do you have a look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you can't control it? Like, the internet is too big. I hate it.
Patrick, I'm going to sound like an asshole. You said Silk Song. What was the other game you mentioned as being very excited about?
Alan Wake 2, Silk Song, and yeah.
He's writing it down.
I am, because there's something after we're all done that I want to do.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Oh, okay. What are you looking forward to, Seth?
So I got a
couple video games.
So absolutely no surprise. Final Fantasy 16, because of course I'm gonna have to shield the next Square Enix game. Also Street Fighter.
This one will be good, I swear.
It's not on Xbox, but
give it a year. Give it a year.
Dead on arrival, I reckon.
Also Street Fighter 6 and Jedi, actually. Jedi Jedi Survivor.
The Fallen Order sequel.
Oh yeah, Survivor, yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to put Street Fighter on this list with them, but I'm going to do Jedi and also Resident Evil 4.
Oh, the remake are doing that.
You know, I've never played Resident Evil game came out.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Okay, so we've got a list.
Wake up, bro! It's time to go to Blockbuster to rent a movie to go to go see with your friends while you eat Domino's and stay up to 2 a.m.
So we got a list of 7 games here. My question is, which of these is most likely to get delayed into next year, do you think? Starfield, Hogwarts Legacy, Silk Song, Alan Wake 2, Final Fantasy 16, Jedi Survivor, or Resident Evil 4? Actually, just to make the question easier, which of these will get delayed at all?
Starfield.
I could see Starfield being delayed until the end of the year, but it goes back to that funny thing I said at the start of the podcast. A delayed game can be good, while an unfinished game is always bad. So, like, it's like, what, a year and a half behind schedule now? And that will really show the ZeniMax Microsoft partnership and how they can work well together. And if they keep delaying this, it's like, well, we paid, like, what, $68 billion for you guys. Do something.
Come on, do math.
Yeah, like, but then at the same time, when and if this game comes out, we're looking.
It's gonna be a when, because they won't start Elder Scrolls 6 until this is done.
Well, borderline. Maybe I'm saying this because I get it day one on Game Pass, so I didn't have to worry about paying extra money for it. We are potentially looking at like Skyrim in space, like that type of levels of hype. Will it happen? I honestly don't know. Like, I would love for it to be like, oh yeah, this is one of the best games of all time, but it might just turn out to be one of the games of 2023. And I can see it being delayed this year. I cannot seeing it being delayed into 2024.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I can see Starfield getting delayed. but not until next year. I think it'll still hit this year, but maybe holiday instead of when they expect it right now.
If Final Fantasy was being developed by a Western studio, I would probably say that could be delayed. But because it's by a Japanese studio, there is no fucking way.
No, Square Enix delays their games pretty frequently. I'd say 16 is probably getting delayed, but at the same time, I feel like this game's been internally in development without them showing it for so long. Is actually in a safe space, especially because last year they promised to show information. So I think it was 2021 actually. They promised to show information that year, and then they missed it, and all the information started coming out last year. So I think I think it's already internally been delayed once, and now they're confident in their target.
Yeah, well, Japanese game studios have a very different culture to Western studios, so who knows what goes on behind closed doors. Do not speak to the media. Do not pass go.
Now, the reason I wanted to make this list is because I still don't think Silksong is coming out this year.
Isn't it supposed to be coming out in like March?
We don't know. All we know is that it was shown on that Xbox event, and Microsoft said everything that's been shown at this event is going to come out in the next 12 months.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, but never believe his lies.
God, when was that event? That was May?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the
no,
E3
no
thing
way.
they did.
No, it was much later than that.
Maybe it was June.
It was like their E3 thing they did.
Yeah. So Silksong, to keep their promise with Xbox, has to come out around June. By June, I mean.
Still need to play the first one. Or Hollow Knight or whatever. I don't know how it works.
Hollow Knight is a very good game.
Yeah, it's on the list. Just like everything else. You
But
guys ever
remember,
get
this
that
isn't a
dream
list
where like...
episode. This isn't a list episode. Steve, I need to hear you say it.
This is not a list episode. Do you guys ever
There we
have
go.
that dream when like you get your legs cut off so you can't work, so yeah, just have to play video games all the time?
The fuck?
That sounds very you specific.
Oh, I just want to play video games. I say that, but yeah, it is what it is.
Start up a Twitch career.
I don't think I could actually. There's something about like having to do something versus
Doing
Like, I
it
can
at
play
your
video
own
games.
leisure.
I feel that. I feel that. And in light of that, Seth, anytime you want to put the gun away from my family would be great. Just
It's still not comfortable yet.
okay, okay, fair enough. I could still try and flee the country. Fair enough. But yeah, I think that about wraps things up. Going slightly over the 2-hour mark. But any final remarks? Otherwise I'll close this out.
Last year was actually a really good year overall for games. Going into it, I wasn't expecting too much, but coming out of it, it was very solid. I think 2017 is still one of the best in recent memory. That year was very strong, but yeah, no, last year was pretty good.
all years are good. As long as video games keep coming up, we keep winning.
We keep eating good. Right. Well, yeah, that takes us to the end of this sort of year in review, episode 54. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled format / the episode that we were going to do now next week. But until then, if you've liked what you've heard, feel free to give us a like or review if you can on the podcast player of your choice. We're on Twitter, Fast Travel Lounge, minus one of the L's, Facebook, Fast Travel Lounge, or mailbag, fasttravellounge@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to episode 54. We'll catch you again next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, 2023. Can't believe you're only 23 years old.
Doesn't look a day over 20.